gosh, whose baby is that?
Excuse me? It's ours.
Wait, but how?
Okay, I'm sorry, but gay people can't have a baby?
Yeah, but like, where did it come from?
Excuse me?
Excuse me?
Wow, you are not allowed to talk like that.
That is so invasive.
Okay, but like we were with you last night and you did not have a baby.
Yeah, and you guys said that after dinner you were going to go to a rave called Bulge Dungeon, and now today you have a baby.
What we're asking is, how did this happen?
Okay, I'm sorry. Why is it when it's us an interrogation? I don't ask you why you're poor.
I owed you $10,000.
I think we're just wondering who the mother is. Hey, well, between the two of us, I'm more emotional, and I like shopping, so me, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, I have long hair and he is an alcoholic, so I guess it's like two moms, I guess?
Guys, how did you get this baby?
Okay, we didn't pull it out of your vagina, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, people think they can ask gay people anything. It's not okay.
Yeah, we don't ask you guys whose butt you use for anal.
Okay. I mean, I guess what's confusing us is you never mentioned that you were having a baby, so this feels pretty sudden.
Yeah, because it wasn't planned. Sometimes it's an accident.
How does a gay couple have a baby by accident?
What do you want us to say, that we stole her?
Did you?
Well, we like to think of it as she stole us.
So does that mean yes?
Why are you confused? English is my 8th language, and even I know what that expression means.
What other languages do you speak?
You can't ask me that! Wow. The transphobia is real.
What? I'm so sorry. Is one of you a trans man?
No. You cannot just ask that girl. But no. God, they should come up with a word for when people have a phobia towards homos.
Do you mean homophobia?
I literally speak 8 languages and I've never heard that word.
Okay, you need to tell us which 8.
English, French, AP French, Navi, Simlish, Blackish, Grownish, and singing.
Where is your baby from?
Us!
But how did you get it?
You mean she, they, until he tells us otherwise.
What is up, y'all? It's Coffee, back at it. And did you find that funny? Did you find that hilarious? I found it pretty amusing. I don't really watch SNL like that these days. Has SNL fallen off in your book? Is it just not the same? It just doesn't have that throwback vibe that it had at one point in time. Has it long lost its charm to you? What say you? Leave it in the comments below. I mean, typically if there's something that's pretty good stuff or pretty funny or whatever, it makes its way to social network these days or whatever. And man, Jon Hamm, hamming it up. That guy is, he can be pretty funny, I think. I don't know. It seems like he's been in everything lately over the past couple of years, but he really turned the zest meter up. Where you're like, whoa, does Ham have some zesty ham pause on deck IRL or what? I don't know. You know what I mean? They said Bulge Dungeon pause. And the what do you say, 8 languages, grownish, blackish, mixedish, I don't know. I thought that was a pretty funny skit there, and it's crazy to me. Let me know again your thoughts. SNL, the skit, Jon Hamm, all that. But what's got me like, what was going on here is this skit is playing into a back and forth beef feud, if you will, that's been going on for quite some time between 2 commentators, media personalities in the sports world, Jason Whitlock and Stephen A. Smith. You know, these individuals don't get along. They can't play nice together, right? There's issues back and forth. Whitlock done exposed. He wasn't the first one, but he really put an emphasis on that. Stephen A. Smith was seemingly lying about his college basketball career. That wasn't really a career, among other things. And, you know, more recently, or it's been a year or so in the media, Stephen A. Smith got a bit sick of him, started calling him a fat pluck, among other things, and really didn't like that Whitlock was ishing on Stephen A. Smith's book. He went off about it. But how this all plays into their back and forth, and I'm trying to break it down and understand what exactly is going on. So please jump in the comments, aside from your commentary on what we already spoke on. Help me decipher what is going on here, what exactly Jason Whitlock is talking about, and if you agree with him in any way, or you see what he's saying or what, because I'm kind of like, whoa, you know what I mean? He shared this skit via the Twitter machine, and it was reposted, retweeted by Gus from Floribama Shore. Tap in and let me know if you watch that show as well. I get a kick out of it. I think it's been canceled or whatever. I think it rivaled Jersey Shore entertainment wise, but check it out. He shared this and he says the SNL skit is important. The deep state has clearly advised its Hollywood elites to try to appear quote unquote normal. This isn't real progress. It's a temporary pivot. Stephen A. Smith is part of the normalcy campaign. It's all coordinated. So, like, in context with the comedy skit, I found it funny. I found it amusing. And you seen what they were talking about, how, you know, I guess clowning about how you can't say that. How dare you ask me that? And, you know, some of the ludicrousy that's going on in regards to some of that stuff. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna dive all into that. You ain't gonna see me do that. But if you want to leave something in regards to all that, you know, comment, right? But the skit in itself is laying out commentary. But I guess Whitlock is saying don't fall for this okey doke from the Hollywood elites. You know, they're not poking fun at these particular things that this comedy skit from SNL is giving social commentary on. I mean, they are, but it's not for real. It's speak on how things have got kind of crazy or whatever, but it's a temporary pivot. It's not for real, you know, and Hollywood's all in on it or whatever, and Stephen A's in on it too. He's part of normalizing all this, and by faking out everyone, it's I don't know, it's a bit confusing what he's saying, right? Maybe or maybe not. Let me know what you think. But it's kind of wild the way he throws Stephen A in there. Like, don't fall for the okey doke, and Stephen A is a part of it all. You know what I mean? It's just kind of wild. It's not something that I'd ever think I'd see would fall into an online discourse about the back and forth between two sports commentators in this way. It's kind of crazy. Let's see what some of the people are saying about this in response and whatnot. And again, leave your thoughts across the board to everything that we touch on in this one. Someone says agreed. Then what do we got? Someone says, this is not the SNL I grew up with. It's just sad. And as I was saying, SNL just seems so not what it used to be. You know what I mean? Even when I was coming up and messing with SNL, when Mad TV was rivaling it on the other channel or whatever, you always kind of knew that SNL wasn't in its glory days, you know, like Chevy Chase and, you know, a lot of Belushi on there, a lot of the old stuff or whatever, you know, but it was like still having its run. Nowadays, it's oh so different, if you will. Now, someone says, thank you to Jason Whitlock. Obviously, meanwhile, people like Charlie Kirk posting that they're immediately ready to guzzle down this sludge again. People acting like that they have the memory span of a gnat. So what is this like with the people drinking the sludge, drinking the Kool-Aid? Do you agree with this whole narrative or whatever Whitlock's throwing out there about, you know, that they're not really pointing out the ludicrousy of all this with this comedy piece? It's a temporary pivot to fake everyone out. again, and do you think it runs that deep, that the deep state is in on all this and everything? Or are you kind of looking at this confused like me? Or do you semi-agree with them, but not all the way? Like, let's talk about it all. Someone says, please don't tell that to conservative influencers. They'll come out with binders again. What is this? MSM entertainment is broken and cannot be fixed without a full purge. This is better and all, but it's a broken clock kind of better. I'm not sure what that's about there. Let's move along here. Agree, it's a ruse to make us think that they are normal people. So again, someone else saying, this isn't fake, this isn't for real. They want you to think, ha ha, laugh with us at what we're making fun of, because we're normal, and the stuff that we're joking about has become abnormal. But you know, it's a ruse though, it ain't for real. And again, how does Stephen A fit into the picture with this? Like, I get that they're online or on TV adversaries and all that, and they got a beef, but again, you know, let me know where you think about all this stuff. And if you do think Whitlock is saying something as far as with that, do you think it's a reach or just kind of off the wall for him to throw Stephen A into it, or what? Is he just throwing things at the wall hoping something sticks, or what, with his truth bombs and all that? Someone says, midterm con job, beware. It's amazing to me how many conservative X accounts see this and drop a wow, I might start watching again since they're returning to normal. Weird. So again, someone's saying it's a ruse, you know. They're trying to lure people back in only to dose them with some more bullish or something like that. Someone says, yep. Then we got this diagram here of, what's this? Data, information, knowledge, insight, wisdom, and then conspiracy theory. And it all creates a unicorn. Someone says, true that. This is absolutely insane. Isn't this just a shift to the center? SNL has no power if it falls too far from the zeitgeist. I don't even know what the fuck. Like, help again, y'all, help me out. Subscribe to the channel if you're new over here. We just coffee talk it up on different topics and stuff like that, from sports to music to current events. You know, we talk about a lot, but I have no shame in my game with certain things. If I'm confused or I'm at, you know what I mean? Like, I always wanted to hear from the people, but I always try to make an transparent, open, honest effort to let y'all know in regards to what we're speaking on, how I feel when it comes to being knowledgeable about it. And when it comes to this, from the SNL stuff to this deep state, like, obviously I'm familiar with what all that is. I'm not saying I don't get the general idea of what we're talking about here, but the way that Whitlock is summarizing this and then throwing Stephen A into it, I'm a bit like, you know what I mean? I'm kind of lost. So again, everyone, just on this time around, I just need y'all help to bust it all down, unpack what we're talking about here, and if it makes sense to you or what. Like the zeitgeist and all this, like, it's not typical thing I'm talking about, you know what I mean? So I'm confused, to say the least. So it's and then without an audience, it has nothing. So it finds a path that appeases whoever is in power, but also allows its cast to express themselves. I thought this was funny and safe. So far, this season has been an improvement from the last few, which I found to be not funny. And then someone says, well, why do you watch it? Why help them sell advertising by providing them ratings boost? These people all hate you. Damn. And then as you see here, this is from February 15th of 2024. Jason Whitlock calls Stephen A. Smith a fraud for reigniting. What was this about? Something about his memoir, Straight Shooter. I don't know if he was saying he was reigniting their issues or something like that, and just trying to drum up the controversy to sell books. But I know Stephen A went off on Whitlock after this and was calling him just a fat piece of ish. You know, I've had enough of that fat bastard, that piece of ish. Stephen A responds to Jason Whitlock's review of his book. So there you guys have it. The saga continues in the Stephen A versus Jason Whitlock drama. Hit the comments. You know, we're getting into some political commentary and comedy and SNL network TV ratings, deep state, normalcy, what's normal, what's not, who's allowed to say what. You know, there's a lot of commentary going on this one. So I look forward to discussing it with all you guys. Once again, do me the solid, hit the button, subscribe and all that. Look forward to talking to you, and I will catch you on the next one. It's Coffee signing out. Peace and God bless. I'm gone, y'all.